Restream. What the? How do you even pronounce this? But I'm here today with my good friend Connor, and we're announcing the Speedrun launch party for Enso. So, for people that are completely unfamiliar with Enso, could you give us a brief background into what you guys are building over at Enso?
Yeah, happy to do so. Really, Enso is the shortcut to building on-chain applications. Without Enso, developers are having to integrate hundreds, if not thousands, of on-chain protocols and over 400 different blockchains before they can even test a product or their idea. Now, we always talk about in crypto land, why are there not enough apps? Many people say this is due to funding, this is from the VCs. And the reality is we have a fundamental tooling issue. People are looking at the lower of the stack. We need higher TPS, we need higher throughput, we need bigger blobs, bigger block sizes. No, we don't. The reality is we need people, including developers, to be able to build applications really quickly and easily. And as of today, there's no tool that exists for that is addressing this core fundamental problem. And with Enso, what this means is behind one API, one SDK, one tool, we aggregate all these different blockchains, we sort all the different on-chain protocols and make it really easily to build on-chain applications. We've had some people that have uh, changed their MVP timeline from 7 months to a day and a half. That's 7 months. People were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. If we're able to accelerate the Web3 space, that everyone can now build an application in a day and a half, this really will change the whole industry holistically. You know, I think there's millions of Web2 applications in the App Store. People know themselves of a friend that has built an application over the weekend. How many people have done that in crypto? Probably not that many because it's so hard to build on chain. So yeah, that's a high level overview of Enso and happy to go into a bit of history later on as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll definitely get into the history. I guess for some people that have maybe they're less developer inclined, maybe they're more in the like curious about blockchain space. This might come as a big surprise to them that it's actually really hard to build on chain. As a developer yourself, talk to them a little bit about some of the difficulties that exist currently with building on chain prior to Enzo.
So a really good metaphor for this that will not explain it fully, but to kind of start the discussion is, if you want to build an application on the internet, you don't need to go to every single country and lay down your own Ethernet cables, connect them, get submarines to go underneath the water and connect all these cables around the world together. That's what developers are having to do in crypto as of today. There's no pipes, there's no tubes, there's no Ethernet cables connecting it all together. Now, practically, what that means is if you even want to integrate one simple application, you will need to understand Solidity, you'll need to integrate RPC providers, you'll need to maintain all of these integrations, you'll need to build simulation infrastructure, you'll need to build on-chain contracts as well that also need to be audited, and then also build your front end, your back end before you can even test your idea. So let's say, for example, you wanted to, I don't know, take an Excel formula, right? You go online, hey, how do I use this formula? Or Excel has them built in. You just pull it into your product and you use it. Whereas in Web3 right now, you're needing to build custom formulas. There's no reusability of any of these formulas across any applications in the space. Now, this is very high level, and practically what this means is if I want to just integrate, let's say, Aave, Curve, Euler, whatever it may be, into my product, I need to go to every single application documentation, understand every single Solidity smart contract they've done, architect my own smart contracts to be able to interact with them, build my smart contract architecture in a way that's compatible to function across all these three different protocols, which, by the way, sounds simple, but it's really, really not because you're now having to build a system that can interact with every single system on chain. So your attack surface and security area of vulnerabilities is tenfold, 100x. And I can give a real world example of this. Back in the early days of Enso, we started off as a social trading product, and we integrated, I believe it was 12 to 14 different um, DeFi protocols to enable people to like monetize their trading knowledge. That alone costs us over 500K in US dollars to audit, and it took us over 10 months to build. Developers shouldn't have to spend $500,000 to build a product to interface with DeFi that lives on chain. Never mind spending 9, 10 months of your life before you can even test your idea, right? Like where raw innovation comes from is the ability to move fast, release, test, and actually experiment with people interacting with the product. And again, I really, really think this is a change in the whole blockchain ecosystem is like this fundamental thought process of people raising $4 or $5 million and spending a year and a half, 2 years to release a product. And quite frankly, people have no usage after 2 years, right? The market's changed after 2 years. And you're kind of crawling and picking up the crumbs. And that's why people just launch a token, right? That's why narratives is such a strong, strong thing inside of this industry. Whereas with Enso now, you can defeat all of that. You can remove from 2 years all the way down to a day and a half in a week because we just put it all behind one tool. So yeah, it's practically speaking, it just makes the most logical sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very difficult in blockchain. You can't just like spin up a project prior to end. So you couldn't just spin up a project over the weekend like you could do when you're learning development. Like you could spin up a weather app, a maps app, because you had all these well-defined APIs that were quite particularly easy to use. Now, did you come out of the gate with this idea of like, hey, we need to abstract a lot of the difficult natures of integrating with protocols? Like, what was the original idea for Enzo, and have you stuck with it?
Yeah, no, we've evolved quite significantly when we started. So it's been over 4 years now. 4 years with no token, right? How many projects have chosen to find product market fit, profitability, sustainable revenue, a fully sustainable company before launching a token, right? Not that many within this ecosystem, but that was a decision we made early on at Enso was to add value to this ecosystem so that it can be sustainable once a token is involved. So we started 4 years ago. We launched a vampire tag. For those who aren't aware, a vampire tag is essentially incentivizing people to move from one place to another. So let's say you're on one mobile phone provider. In Switzerland, we have Swisscom. We also have Sunrise and Yallo. And if you're on Swisscom, Yallo will approach you and say, hey, we'll give you the same package, we'll give you the same deal, but we'll give it a discount. So we've done this against 6 different social trading products or index products where people could come along and stake their tokens and like their index tokens. We would burn the upper index, take the underlying, migrate it to a social strategy on Enso. So that was kind of the first entrance to the market. A lot of people love this. You know, it's a whole gamified UI. And obviously today we're on this speedrun announcement, this live stream. This is a V2. This is the next evolution. And I'll be honest, it's taken a whole next level. So looking forward to this release. So that was the first release, migrated, I think it was about 13, 14 million, purely from people interacting to get NFTs. And that created a very solid brand of Enso. We migrated that over to the social trading application. So the core thesis of Enso at the start was, hey, I was finding really early DeFi opportunities like Aave at $2, $3, entering into many yield farms like Yam, Sushi, so forth. And people were messaging me and saying, hey, I would love to give you my money to put into these protocols and you take a percentage. It sounds great, but practically speaking, to manage this, it's one, a lot of risk. Um, two, the operational overhead of doing this was massive. And three, what came out of that was how is there not an application that does this already? You know, there's eToro, there's Robinhood, there's so many applications in the Web2 world, but there was none in the Web3 world. So we launched this. We found very, very quickly that if we have to integrate 14 protocols, if we have to spend $500,000 for only 14 protocols, and there's 3,500, 4,000 applications on chain as of today, okay, we're going to burn through 10, 20, 30, $40 million. Like that doesn't make sense before even testing our idea. So we went back to the drawing board. You know, a difficult decision had to be made of essentially killing the idea of the company after a year and a half, the baby idea. And we rebuilt all the infrastructure underneath that allowed us to interact with any on-chain contract without the requirements of auditing. Now, this we audited the main contract 7 times, but all the logic of how to interact with these protocols is off-chain. Call data is built off-chain and then routed through one into many. This was the first of its kind, really still the first of its kind. Ironically, that contract, I don't think we've ever said it publicly, but it was the first ever version that Uniswap forked. So Uniswap forked the Enso contracts, and that's what you know is the universal router. So Enso's smart contract development skills are next level that a large multi-billion-dollar company will fork it, right? That was then used in the DeFi super app, where you could go into one application to interact with over 50 DeFi protocols in day one. Launched that, and then we had 6 projects reach out to us and say, "Hey, how did you integrate all these protocols?" Or like day one, like this is unheard of, even still today. And we said, "Well, that's interesting. That's a problem we didn't even think that everyone else had the same issue as us." So within a week, we spun up an API, and that kind of took us on that journey. We left that user consumer application up for it was a good 6 months, not that many interactions. And in the meanwhile, the first week we done like 11 million transaction volume on the API, and now we've reached over $15 billion.
Which
So it's
is
been really just
to
listening to, it's just been
listening to the
listening to
market.
like the feedback. Yeah, exactly.
And then talk to them a little bit about, I know you guys have this concept of a shortcut. So for people that are unfamiliar with like what shortcuts are or like why they're needed in this ecosystem, I think they'll have a good understanding right now of being like, okay, it's tough to build on chain. You have to integrate with all these different protocols. No one's really fully figured it out until you guys came around. Talk to them a little bit about like what a shortcut is and what that opens up.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about when we were children, right? We'd always find a faster way of getting somewhere. We wouldn't take the full path and go around. We just get to our end destination. A shortcut allows the developers to express what they want as an outcome. So they can say, "Hey, I want to obtain this particular DeFi protocol token, or I want to get this particular state." Generally, people call this an intent, which is purely just the expression. And then the shortcut is actually the call data, which is how you actually execute that on chain. And underneath the shortcut, there may be 20, 30, even 50, 60 transactions that all combined together to be able to create one transaction. So shortcut really is the executable call data on chain that allows you to combine all these individual actions into one simple usable shortcut.
Yeah, and I think when people they probably heard about intents in the ecosystem. The way I always like to describe it, it's like, hey, if you're ordering an Uber, you don't necessarily pick the exact underlying route. You don't pick the underlying driver. You just say like, I'm here, want to get there, and you just let the algorithms figure it out. Would you describe that similarly for Enzo, or would you say like, hey, as a developer, you're having way more underlying control because you're actually picking the underlying protocols, this type of thing?
Yeah, I think intents are a strong narrative. The practicality of them is questionable. It's questionable in a way that, if, let's say you go to a job bulletin board like LinkedIn. If you have 10,000 people all posting to hire for a particular job, but there's no one that will do that job, what's the purpose of it, right? An intent is purely just an expression. Hey, I want to get this outcome, but you need somebody underneath to be able to fulfill that. That's what people call solvers, resolvers, fillers, and so forth. And Enso was one of the top 3 solvers in the whole ecosystem. And we really realized that people cannot build their own, it doesn't scale for people to build their own solvers. Why can't we have a shared graph holistically that is similar to the graph? So the graph is a project in the Web3 space that allows people to fetch data on chain, right? But somebody comes along and says, here's how you fetch data from Uniswap, here's how you fetch data from Balancer, and people reuse this across their applications. Enso is very, very similar, not only for fetching data, but for how to execute on chain. So somebody can come along and say, here's how you execute into Balancer, here's how you execute into Uniswap, and also fetch data into what we call this shared graph. So the The shortcuts itself is really the solution to the request itself. Now, what we saw inside of the solver ecosystem, there's a handful. There's maybe I think 15 max solvers in the whole crypto ecosystem right now. They do not they're not good at all three components, which are simulations, integrations, and algorithms, right? These are the three fundamental core points of how you can build shortcuts, of combining all these different parts in a graph into one solution. And the Enso shortcuts really allows people to contribute to the shared engine that will then generate the shortcut for the intent request.
Yeah, I think it's something interesting to think about is like, historically people have had to integrate all of these different protocols. So maybe I could actually run through an example of maybe one of your integration partners and like how they've ended up using Enso shortcuts. And maybe some very popular ones. I know you guys have some really incredible partners and how they're using Enso shortcuts to kind of elucidate the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think as of today, I believe there's over 85 or 90 projects now using Enso in production. And these projects are fully reliant upon Enso infrastructure. There's a thing called stickiness, or people call moats and so forth. And if you're an RPC provider like Infura or Tatum or Alchemy, people can easily switch out that API for one to another. Whereas with Enso, people are not only integrating the API level, but also on the smart contract level, and they're fully reliant upon the Enso infra. One project that I'm a big fan of is called Unplug.io. If anyone has heard of Zapier in the Web2 world, where you can create automation, so you can say like, oh, once I get like an email, send that message to Telegram. That Telegram message then updates a Calendly link or updates an email and so forth. You can kind of combine all these different Web2 tools into one place and create conditions and automate them. Now, Unplug has built this in Web3. Literally did not exist up until Enso was built. They created their MVP with a couple of DeFi integrations that took them 7 months to build. They then rebuilt their whole MVP in a day and a half using Enso to automate all Web3 transactions, not only for DeFi, not only for trading, not for just NFTs, literally for any smart contract that lives on chain. It was not physically possible up until Enso was built. Now, we're entered into so many different market segments, right? We have wallets, we have asset management. I mean, some wallets, the larger ones, Infinex, for example. We have asset management tools such as Velvet. We have automation like Glider, who Glider is built using Enso, who recently raised from A16Z. So even large VCs are investing into projects that are built using Enso themselves. Then we have a bunch of AI tooling like HeyAnon, Virtuos, Brino's AI, which is a really solid and incredible team. Automato, Elsa, you name it. Um, and what I've found really interesting is Enso's positioned as a shortcut engine to abstract how you interact on all Web3 transactions on chain. What results in that is the use cases being built are so unique that literally haven't been developed or built in this whole ecosystem before. We had this bear chain launch. People didn't see this. I suggest going to have a look at it. That is called Boyko. And we were able to move $3.1 billion from a chain that wasn't public at that point in time safely from Ethereum into over 84 different on-chain combinations of transactions safely with no loss of funds. That technically was not possible up without Enso. So I think there's many varieties of use cases, and I think what's really interesting here is Enso makes it just so easy to build what you think. The only limitation here is your imagination. Now you can build an on-chain application. It could be, I don't know, fetching from sensors in the real world to an on-chain prediction market that combines with DeFi and NFTs and any smart contract that gets deployed in the future, any new primitive that is available. That could be I don't know, water bottles, right? I don't know what the primitive could be that lives on chain. It's all available through Enso, so we're perfectly positioned.
And talk to people for like, how do you guys get a new integration? Is it like, hey, a new protocol goes live and you guys are easily able to add it in there? Or is it, kind of what we talked about in the past where previously people had to get, smart contract audited? It was a very lengthy process. Like, talk to us a little bit about how like a new protocol would get added.
Yeah, it's been very interesting the last couple of months to see how this transition has happened. So before we would add a protocol ourselves, we would reach out to that protocol. No audits, just an off-chain element would be added. We then simulate it all to make sure it can pass and no errors occur. To then projects would reach out to us to ask for us to add it, and now it's turning into a self-service. Now, there's a massive project in crypto called DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama aggregates all DeFi protocols and puts it in one UI for data. So showing how much volume you're doing, the fees, how many users, what kind of market segment you're inside of, and that's the go-to place if you launch a DeFi protocol. On day one that it's live, you've got to be in DeFi Llama. Why? Because it's a distribution channel. People go there, they learn about new projects. Now what's happening is people are coming to Enso and they're adding their protocols themselves. They're starting to realize that if you add your DeFi protocol into the Enso infrastructure, then you get this massive distribution channel of the top wallets, top AI projects. You get access to all these asset management tools, the automation. So really, it's just a PR and a Git repo for now. The phase two of this, the more decentralized approach, will be with the network. So people can come along and they can propose directly onto the layer one chain itself of the function signatures of how you interact with that protocol. What this results in, even with just a Git repo, is that the Enso team doesn't need to hire 500, 1,000 engineers. People will add it directly themselves. So it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and I want to go back into it because now people understand, like, okay, and now protocols get added. You have a lot more visibility. And I remember actually work with you guys on looking at the total amount of apps that exist in, we'll call it Web 2 world. I think it's like 195 million. And there's only like 4,000, like a little bit under 5,000 apps on DeFi Llama. Now with Enzo rolled out, do you see that number, like that gap starting to close? Do you feel like people are going to start building more on-chain apps now that things are easier?
We're seeing it all the time. We're getting people in our Telegram group that's purely focused on developers. Before it was large, like B2B projects, like the large wallets. Then it was a medium size. Now it's small size. It's one man shop developers that come along and send me a message or even in the shared group saying, "Hey, I built this over the weekend. What do you think?" And you're like, "Wow, you built this application over the weekend. This is great. Let's create a group. Let's help you marketing. Let's get you in a builders podcast. Let's get you some. Let's help you in the Twitter. Share this publicly." The switch in the last 2 months has been crazy. So we can see it firsthand that people are organically finding out about Enso, which is wonderful. It really is a hats off to all the Enso team on the marketing side for this and the DevRel, BD, and so forth. Um, it's and I don't even know where they're coming from. I think it's word of mouth right now as well for certain parts. And people are using us inside of hackathon projects without us even subsidizing hackathons. So in crypto, everyone's paying 50K for you to build a project on this chain that doesn't even really exist and nobody's ever going to use it, but they need to pump up the numbers. Whereas with Enso, they're literally choosing to use our infrastructure inside of their hackathon because it allows them to start claiming as many grants or hackathon prizes as possible. So yeah, to answer your question directly, it's been a big shift of the type of people and the self-service of it.
Yeah, that might be the hackathon arbitrage. It's like, hey, just add Enzo, just launch on a new launch on random chain and collect grant money. TBD, people. Good alpha. All right, so I want to go back a little bit into some of the recent releases because I think the Boyko one was so interesting with Bearchain now, and then I want to get to some others. But talk to us a little bit again about what happened on Boyko and like why that was so pivotal that you could just launch a chain and then have crazy amounts of liquidity within just a few days.
Yeah, so the Bear Chain team are incredible. Um, I think they are the best. Yeah, I'll go and say it. They are the best foundation and ecosystem we have worked with in the 9 years of me being full time in crypto, still as of today.
Wow.
Now, ironically, as of 28 minutes ago, the new Boyko rollover has just went live, and it's fully powered by Enso again. So what Boyko was initially was an open market where individuals could come along and say, hey, I want to interact with these DeFi protocols. These DeFi protocols will come back and say, I will offer you this amount of rewards if you deposit this amount of TBL. User would accept. The funds would then be on Ethereum. Once all the acceptances happened at a particular time, there was a deadline. All the funds would be bridged from Ethereum over to Chain using Stargate. All those funds would then be executed into all the different protocols and all the different combinations using Enso shortcuts. For me, it was one of the biggest testaments to have a project that has raised over $100 million, to have over $3.1 billion of retail money being used fully reliant upon Enso. You know, we were chosen as that infrastructure provider to enable the launch of their chain. If anything went wrong, it wasn't just Enso that was going down. A lot of people would have been affected by that. And the infra was bulletproof. From the start to finish, nothing went wrong. And over that $3.1 billion, it got moved into 84 different combinations. By combinations, I mean, okay, you're entering into lending position, then you're borrowing, and then you're LPing all in one transaction. There's no product outside of Enso as of today that even allows you to do that. The ability to lend and borrow an LP is so simple, but nobody's built a product that allows you to do that. Certain other use cases were entering into just a lending position or entering an LP position. Kodiak as one of the largest dexes now within so it was an incredible launch. And yeah, for anyone listening that is inside of Boyko, there's a whole new UI that went live literally 28 minutes ago that will allow you now to migrate from any of your Boyko positions into any of the defined vaults. You could even go from a Dolomite position into Kodiak position or into concrete position. And then we kind of went this next level of combining all these Lego blocks together. So that was a really great launch.
Yeah, and a great shout out to the Bear Chain team for being, it's very high praise. Yeah, it's so interesting to think about how difficult it was historically to combine all of these different actions together, and now how simple you all have made it. And then it's not just Bear Chain. I've seen, Unichain, and if anyone's been to the conferences, branding wise, they're actually one of my favorite favorite chains. Like at ETH Denver, they just all pink everything. It really stuck out from the rest of the conference. But talk to him a little bit about what you guys have done with Unichain and Uniswap.
Yeah, this is a great one to bring up. I nearly forgot about that. There's so many launches happening all the time using Enso. It's hard to keep track nowadays, truthfully. So last week we went live in collaboration with Layer Zero, Stargate, and also Unichain, which is Uniswap in the background. What we've realized is there's no simple product for going from any chain. That could be Optimism, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Sonic, Chain, could be any chain, even Solana, into a position that lives on Unichain. So let's say you have ETH and Optimism and you want to enter into a V4 position on Unichain. What you'll need to do is bridge your ETH. So one, you need to find a bridge provider. Good luck, there's hundreds. So you'll find it, you'll then bridge it, you'll get it over. You'll then need to go to Uniswap interface. You'll need to understand about tick ranges. You'll need to understand how impermanent loss works, how all this underlying functionality operates. You'll need to then swap from one token to another token. And then at that stage, you can now enter that position. Now that's kind of an easy flow, let's be honest. But once you start entering into, I have a V2 and a V3 position on these other EVM chains, want to migrate into V4 position, you're now redeeming these positions, i.e., you're burning the V3, taking it underlying, you're then swapping into one, bridging that, swapping into two to then enter. And we just made this all within one click, a shortcut that can combine exiting DeFi in one chain, bridging, and then entering. And again, it's a great testament to showing what Enso's powerful of, right? We're working with the largest brands inside of crypto. We have the indie developers, we have the medium-sized companies, and Enso really is the backbone infrastructure that's powering a lot of Web3.
Yeah, and I know, historically, like it's hard enough to just do these actions on one particular chain, let alone actually do them cross chain. And I know you have recently rolled out like a widget that would allow people to do these types of actions. Could you real quick go into like what you guys have rolled out recently there and sort of what that enables?
I don't think that one's public, but let's just leak it. Let's do it.
Oh,
No, it's fine.
whoops.
Let's do it. Let's leak it. So here's another product announcement. So not only did we launch something, let's go. Not only did we launch the Uniswap last week, not only is the Speedrun going live today, not only is 34 minutes ago has the new Bearchain UI built on Enso going live to migrate the potential of 3.1 billion. We're also launching something else. We keep launching because people need this. So we're now entering into the cross-chain ecosystem, and people have not built they built Lego blocks, but they've not combined them together. So let's say your DeFi application that lives on Bearchain, let's take, for example, Kodiak. Your users connect their wallets from AVAX or Arbitrum Ethereum. That user friction of them bridging all their funds manually over to that chain to then swap into whatever tokens are required to then enter that DeFi position really deters a lot of users for interacting with that application. Just a simple button to say, hey, deposit my funds from any chain anywhere in one transaction. That's what this widget does. Already it's live privately. People are already integrated. People are already integrating. And it's, again, another testament to a simple product that can be built using Enso. Like we don't want to be in the game of building products ourselves. We're in the game of infrastructure, but we see these small products that can be built very, very quickly. So we just built it. It took us 2 weeks to build that.
Well, so that I don't leak any more hidden product knowledge that I didn't know about, let me go on to bringing in some of the builder team and meeting some other people. Obviously it's great to talk with Connor here, but I know there's a lot of people underpinning the team itself. And if we're still waiting for them to get on, we can always talk about Sonic, which I know is a really exciting chain and really exciting campaign that you guys are doing as well. So while we wait for the team to get on, could you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing with Sonic?
Yes, so you see kind of the incentive initiative that Sonic created, these markets on Roico, that's all reliant upon on Enso infrastructure as well. So we have tons of people using Enso every single day. There's probably 5 other projects that went live in the last week and a half that we don't even know about, right? That we're not in contact with. So yeah, it's another project built on top of us. But yeah, let's get all the brains of the team into the call.
Absolutely. I feel like you guys launch, it must be a partnership announcement a week or two. I feel bad for whoever your BD lead is or the marketing team behind you that has to constantly make these announcements. But, while we got everyone here, I want to introduce some of the people from the team. So we'll just go around the horn. I know Leonie's the one I am the closest with. So Leonie, give them a quick introduction to yourself, what you're doing out there in the background for Enso.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Leonie. I'm based in Berlin in Germany, and I'm on the marketing team here at Enso. And yeah, thanks Jax for being on today and hosting this.
Yeah, absolutely. I always love to work with the Enso team, and I see Lindy there. Lindy, now I see that you're the BD lead. You're probably the person that has to sign all of these partnerships.
Yeah, I'm the one who has to talk to all these partners, but it's a fun job because the thing I like about Enso is that because we are infrastructure, right? We're just like Lego blocks, and there's so many different ways. So even if I talk to lending market A and lending market B, it might be a different thing that we speak about because it's so flexible. So yeah, BD lead here, calling in from Singapore. Really happy to be here.
Wow. Well, let me think even what time it is. Well, it's a late night in Singapore today, and I gotta say, your Telegram chats must be crazy because of all the integrations. So I would not want to swap telegrams with you for a day. And then I see we've got. And now I might butcher your name. Is it Ninad?
Yeah, go ahead.
Correct me if
That's
I'm
pretty
wrong.
close. Pretty close. Nenad, yes. So, hi, Nenad, I'm Devrel at Enso. I'm calling in from Serbia, Belgrade. And yeah, I can definitely confirm Linda's chat is probably very, very crazy, at least from the groups we're in together. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here as a Devrel, which means that I'm sort of listening for the stuff that can make it even easier for people to integrate Enso and to build with Enso. So it goes along the mission to make building more easier and accessible for developers.
You know, and as a DevRel, like many people that are good at development, they can work on many different projects. They have opportunities about what's some of the things that have attracted you to the Enso project? Like, what's your favorite thing working there?
Yeah. So one of the things, like the technologist in me, because I used to be an engineer, I like to say that the technologist in me really got attracted to the fact that Enso is actually building very useful abstractions, because technology can evolve only if you build abstractions on top of, you know, the very low level things. Otherwise we would still be coding in assembler. So building those abstractions that give capacity to people to, you know, get to get their ideas come to reality faster, that's the thing that really spoke to me when I looked into Enso as a project. So it's all about, one more time, as Connor mentioned a bunch of times, it's about making it easier for people to get their idea and to land them for users.
Yeah, I mean,
so building.
You know, I feel like sometimes we're in Web3 so long, and you're like, oh man, yeah, it's kind of hard to switch between 12 different chains. It'll be like, oh, I have funds stranded there because of gas, and you guys are really doing the good work of really improving these. And then I'll move over to Lindy, my favorite BD lead. So talk to us a little bit about how you're interacting with all these different protocols. Is it Barachain calls you up out of the blue, or are you constantly on Telegram, looking for new people to integrate with?
Yeah, well, it's good for me that I already have a personal interest and curiosity in blockchain and Web3 in general. Also, to me, it's not a chore to learn about the different projects. Before I speak with every project, I try to look at their docs, I look at their Twitter to see where's their angle, where's the direction in which they're moving. I try to understand the protocol. And one thing also, my hobby is playing around with Dune. And the best way to learn about a project is to do Dune. So by doing the Dune dashboard analysis, you do queries and then you find out what actually is going on behind their research paper, which is actually something I really love by Enso. We have this tagline called product over paper, which is really something that attracted me in the first place. In Web3, there are many projects that I mean, some of them, they don't have the ability to execute what their ideal is, their dream is. Some of them, they just intend to only write research papers, but whatever it is, I feel that Enso is in a very good position to be able to provide these shortcuts to make your dream come true. So let's say you have a dream and you want to build this and you want to build that, but then you don't have the resources or you don't have the knowledge, then you can just use Enso shortcuts and you can execute many different types of things. So yeah, that's part of my job. And in every BD call, when I speak to people, I try to understand them. I try to understand where they are and where they wish to go. And I try to fit in Enso shortcuts and see what's the best way we can get them there.
Absolutely. I love that phrase, product over paper.
One thing we gotta I was gonna say one thing, we gotta use this phrase, shortcut to make your dreams come true. This is great.
Yeah, I feel like Lindy's coming up with the best slogans on stream.
The shortcut from your dreams to reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually remember seeing you a message in a Telegram chat like yesterday that you're just eager to explore DeFi use cases with them. So it's really cool to hear. It's just, something you enjoy doing, actually.
To me, it's not like a job that I just want to pass the time with and collect salary. It's really something that I would do even for free. But don't tell Connor, otherwise he won't pay my salary.
Don't say it too loud.
Don't say that.
I said, Connor, you could... That could be arranged. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then Leonie, I know I don't know if you're the mastermind behind the Speedrun campaign. So talk to us a little bit about like some of the fun things that you've gotten working at Enso.
Yeah, I would say Speedrun campaign is definitely one that is right on top of the list in terms of fun projects. I think just the UI itself is really cool we had a teaser where we leaked the UI a little bit, where you can see like the cars racing and the different areas. We have AI, DeFi, social, and you can explore the full Enso ecosystem. And it's all like speed and racing themed, which fits super well because as we talked about before and Connor mentioned, like building with Enso is all about just speeding up your go-to-market process, your launch process, your shipping process. So I think the campaign really makes this experienceable for the average user that is not technical. And I think, yeah, I'm really excited to launch the campaign today and really curious to see what the users think about it.
Yeah, it's always nice to have things to be accessible. As a non-practicing engineer, and not as Dune friendly as Lindy, I appreciate it tremendously to go through the UI and understand a bit more about what everything is working on. So, with that being said, we've got the Speedrun campaign. We're obviously walking through. We've got a really exciting things coming up. Some alpha leaked. My apologies. And I want to talk a little bit about what the campaign's goals are, and I'm happy to shoot that over to anyone and be like, hey, what is the ultimate goal that people should be looking for when they're taking a peek at this campaign? Is it like, hey, technical builders can now go use Enso, launch an app super quickly, get market validation? Or is it that retail users can really understand like how much easier the future of blockchain will be?
I can give my 2 cents, and if anyone wants to jump in after. So we found with Enso that there's a lot of things that can be built, right? That's why we started building our own mini applications. That's why we have so many people building applications on top of us. But we saw very quickly that retail didn't have a grasp on kind of what these words that I was saying earlier, which is we abstract all these blockchains, we put all these on-chain protocols behind one tool. It's like, what does that mean, right? So now practically we make it really simple for somebody to go to UI, to see all the different apps that are built on top of Enso. So you can now go and see their user experience. You see the extent of what impact Enso has in the space. And then you can also deploy your own applications, right? It's not the most sexy in terms of the WordPress for blockchain apps, but it kind of is. That's how this new internet revolution happened. Everyone was able to, their mom and pops could build their own website very quickly on an interface. And really, you can build your own blockchain application with a simple interface now using Enso. So one goal is to create awareness of the extent of how impactful Enso is in the space with all these projects building on top of us. 2 is to allow retail to even see how they could just build their own app themselves, literally by just putting in a name, a title, and it deploys their own unique interface that they can share with their friends, by the way. Like if you want to deploy your own Uniswap now, you can. You can literally deploy your own Uniswap. You can deploy your own AI agent. And you can send this to your mom and dad and be like, oh, this is my blockchain app. You can say to people now that you built your own blockchain app. Now, it literally was not possible up until this. So these are kind of the 2 main parts. And it's also good fun. The Speedrun UI, the team's done a wonderful job, and all this is pretty good fun.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot exciting stuff coming up, and I won't put Lindy on the spot for maybe some future partnership announcements. So not trying to leak any alpha, but what is really next for Enso? Obviously, we've talked about some exciting things that are coming up, but like we've got the Speedrun campaign. Anything people should be looking forward to coming in 2025?
This year we're focusing on bigger things because when we started, we provided simple things like shortcuts, right? And people initially use it for simple actions like swap, deposit, etc. But now the market has advanced to a stage in which it is easy to do these. Everybody's comfortable with doing it, and competition has come in. So now we're expanding to bundle stuff, things that are more complicated. We're powering backend operations, for example, auto compounding votes. I think you'll see some pretty good announcements coming in the next few days. We are also working with blockchains like Barachain, right? We have a few other announcements coming up. So we power these TVL incentive campaigns in which we batch different transactions, because each ecosystem, I mean, in order for a blockchain ecosystem to do mainnet, they in a healthy way, such that all DeFi applications have enough TVL and have enough liquidity and depth for proper execution. What we do is that we make sure that we grow the native app such that each app has enough TVL and the users interact with the app in the way that that's aligned with the strategy of the app. So we batch different transactions together that are of the different apps natively in the chain, such that people have an exposure to the different apps. So instead of just like you randomly to execute one action into one random protocol, we try to weave it in a way that the whole campaign is seamlessly linked together. So you can see that when you do action 1 and action 2 and action 3, it actually joins together project A, project B, project C in a way that you understand the 3 projects, and let's say the output token of project A can actually be used in project B, and then the project C comes along and does something, a vault in which you can use the tokens of project A and project B, something like that.
Yeah, well, very exciting to see those complex actions. I feel like I have to pass it over to my good Devrel, because he's probably dealing a little bit more on the grounds with some things that companies are dealing with every single day. Now, when you talk with companies, do they really understand, like, oh wow, Enso is making my life so much easier?
Yeah, well, one thing that we noticed actually is that if some piece of tech is quite simple, people actually doubt the capacity it has. So we had like a million times the very simple API. It's a route API, and people usually associate it to simple operations like swaps. But in reality, you can zap into vaults and stuff like that. So these are some preconceptions that exist there. So one of the things is to actually tackle them. And another big thing is, of course, the developer experience. So how easy it is to use Enso by devs, and the SDK is the first thing that will tighten up to make that even easier. And it's practically all about different additional tools that builders could actually use to go through development and troubleshooting even faster and smoother.
Yeah, well, that
I think there was a clip. Well, one thing on it. I think there was a clip we posted like 3-4 weeks ago. I think it was on the Builder series. The guy was talking about and then he called the co-founder and was like, "You know what? It was going to take us months. We can now do this in days."
Yeah,
it's like people are and like was said, it's a bit people get shocked. Some people think it's too good to be true, truthfully. But I've had that on large wallets that are going live with us, the largest ones. They've literally said in call, yeah, this is too good to be true. And it's like, no, this is it. Like this, we have power to change this ecosystem, and this is Enso. So just kind of add on that one, yeah.
Yeah, and I know, Leonie, obviously you're in charge. We've got Lindy, who is talking with all the projects. We got our, Devrel, that are really helping people integrate and get all of these shortcuts working. Talk to us a little bit about like expanding the reach of the Enso network from the marketing perspective, because I know you have some obviously some big announcements coming up.
Yeah, I would say it's twofold, because the end user is basically a developer and projects, and I'm super glad to have Nenad on board for this, for the more technical side, to really dig down a little bit deeper. But then we also have the non-technical people, where we want to convey really the value prop in simple terms, just like explain them, hey, we only have those 4K apps in Web3, whereas we have 1.2 or 1.9 million on the App Store. And Enso really helps with that, and basically explain them why it matters in simple terms. So I think that's kind of the challenge we have, that we have those two audiences. So we always try to think about what can we do for both of them. on the one hand, we'll have the more technical side when it comes to technical releases, but then we have front-end facing products like the Speedrun campaign that is coming up now. So I think that's kind of the main thing we often try to think about. What's the audience we're actually speaking to here? And then, convey the message in the right way.
Yeah, and I think because me and Connor talked about Unplug recently, I suspect you're going to start seeing more non-developers, even if they don't consciously know that they're using Enso, really start to build things on chain. I don't know if you're seeing that in kind of the no code movement as well.
I think a lot of people have already used Enso without them even knowing. That's the power, right? It's I would love to see. So I mean, I think it was about a year and a half ago. I made some predictions on. Let's make a prediction. Let's hold me to it. So about a year and a half ago, I made a prediction of AI agents that were fully going to be built on top of Enso shortcuts. Now I think the prediction in a year and a half will be no code solutions of drag and drop to create your own blockchain applications. And I think Enso really will be at the forefront of that.
Yeah,
It's not just Enso, it's not just blockchain. I mean, it's the whole world. Even things like ChatGPT, right, is basically making things easy for humans to interact.
Yeah, it's the vibe coding movement. But I know you need to leave.
Yeah, I need to go to my next meeting. It's just a secret meeting. I'm not going to tell you, but you see the announcement soon.
All right. So serious alpha coming. Everyone stay tuned, and we will follow Lindy on Twitter, and we'll find out in probably a month.
And I'll join Lindy and have a nice rest of the stream.
Yeah. Perfect. And I know we have to share the screen. So this is my first time using Restream. So people, bear with me as I attempt to share my screen for this beautiful speed run. We've got the countdown of 4 minutes and 21 seconds. If I can get some ones in the chat, if people can actually see my screen. Oh yeah, there we go. Hey, things are getting easier on here on the beautiful Restream. So we got 4 minutes until the big launch. I know, like, it's just a very exciting time. Talk to people, like, as they see this countdown screen, what can they expect on the other side? Like any exciting things that people should be really bracing themselves for?
This is a psyop, guys. Once it reaches 0 seconds, it's going to go to infinity.
Yeah.
No, literally, this is what happened in a vampire attack last time. It reached 0 and then it went to infinity. It's not going to happen this time, though.
I do have to say,
we'll find out in 3 minutes.
I find watching the countdown quite nerve-wracking.
What is behind this screen? And then we had a new friend join. So Nico, real quick, introduce yourself. Talk about what you do at Enso as we watch this beautiful countdown.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to say what Leo said. Like, my hands are sweating right now. Discord is on fire. So the last 3 minutes, are they going to be the last ones? We'll see. Yeah, super excited. I'm Nico. I take care of the community growth. You guys probably have seen me on the Discord. I see that some people already recognize me, which is really cool. And yeah, big day today. A lot of things are coming, and yeah, let's see how the launch is going to be. It's going to be a really cool day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the community already knows you for sure.
But this is the first time they actually see my face. I shared a photo earlier, but I was wearing a helmet. So probably, yeah, that's the...
True, right, yeah.
Unless they follow me on LinkedIn.
It's not just an AI.
Yeah, no,
it's actually real.
Yeah, he's real. He's not just an AI, right?
18 hours on Discord.
You change your picture to... You changed your picture to a cat recently as well. What's this? What's up with these cats?
We're all aligning. Like, shortcuts. After when you repeat it so many times, sometimes there's an A that slips, and things happen after that. There are consequences for that.
Yeah, explain to me what the shortcut is, because I'm like, I just kept thinking people were spelling shortcut wrong.
Well, actually, the video that we shared recently, I think it's a great example, right? When you repeat something for such a long time, you might end up maybe even losing your mind a little bit on the go. So we said, hey, that's like some really cool slip, right? Let's see how we can where we can take that. And like the community actually really loved it, and we had a lot of a lot of memes, a lot of stickers around that, and we felt like it's some really cool layer to put on top of the shortcuts, just to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging.
No, I personally love it. I just I think the short cat is one of the cuter things that I've seen on the internet lately. But I was just like, what is the short cat? What is this cat building?
Yeah, and
you guys have a big cat builder community?
And as
these
people are
days?
saying, I'm not a cat. Right now, everybody's saying, oh God, Nico is not a cat. No, I'm an actual person, not an AI. Yeah.
I know there were rumors going around that you might be a cat AI, and that was a bit startling for me. But finally, I can see you here. I can attest that I believe he is at least 90% real.
And who knows? Maybe my next version will be built on top of Enso. We'll see that.
Yeah, what shortcuts do we need for the humanoid community leads?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I'm already transacting on chain all the time, so yeah, I guess an AI version of me built on top of Enso just makes sense, right? It just the next evolution.
Yeah.
It was inevitable. It's just inevitable. It is gonna happen.
Now I know. Now that we're principally waiting for the countdown. We've got 10 seconds. We got the 9 seconds, and people are finally going to be able to see what is behind this beautiful screen, which I gotta say I love the design of. And here we are. What the? We've got something loaded. I think we gotta poke around here a little bit just to see what's live on the campaign. I see a beautiful city. I've got some AI stuff, some socials, some DeFi. Well, this is pretty cool. Now, what is this? What's this NOS? What do we got here? And maybe Leonie can explain this to me, because this is my first time seeing the channel. What is NOS?
Yeah.
What do we got
here?
So
NOS, you can basically think of it as points. I mean, you probably remember it from, I don't know, where did they use NOS gas? But it kind of speeds up your car. And you can Need for Speed, right?
Need for Speed. A classic.
So for each task you do on the campaign, you collect NOS points. And then you will see your bar go up, your points go up on the right-hand side, upper right-hand side.
We got this beautiful NOS bar here. And yeah, for people that are unfamiliar, it was from a game. Man, it's been so long since I played Need for Speed. This is essentially the thing to like turbo boost your car to go as fast as humanly possible, and try not to crash. Really is the big thing. So I'm looking at this. We've got a racetrack, and then we've got different kinds of tracks. So walk me through some of the things. Maybe I'll start on. Let me see. What's my favorite? I like DeFi myself. So we've got DeFi here, and let's see. So we can experience the power of Enso shortcuts firsthand, and launch your own DeFi app with just a few clicks. That's pretty cool here. All right, so I got to connect to a Zealy campaign. Talk to us a little bit about what we've got here with DeFi. Some of the things that Enso is enabling in DeFi Landia.
Yeah, so I mean, it basically says it in the description. You'll be able to launch your own DeFi app in just a few clicks. But let's just share screen from someone who's connected.
Yeah.
Let me
share
mine.
Yeah, and also like the use cases of DeFi that's been built outside of this campaign, by the way, we've really simplified it in this campaign, but we've got some largest BTC-Fi, LSTs, LRTs, restaking, lending protocols. We've got automation of DeFi protocols. We've got vault providers. The list really just goes on. We've got DEXs. Every single foundational area inside the DeFi is using Enso as of today.
Yeah, a lot of incredible stuff being built. And then I think maybe Leonie has taken the control of the screen. Let's see what we got here in the DeFi section. So now we're clicking on it.
Yeah, so
got some very cool
you can
stuff.
create your very own customized DeFi DEX. You will get 1,000 NOS for it. So you just click into it. Then you can give it a name. Let's just call it Livestream app. You can give it a domain name.
And before somebody's already front run your name, so we can't create an app.
And then you can select one of the given pictures. logos, but you can also just select your own. So for example, you can just use your profile pic to make it really personal and customized. You just hit submit. Let's hope it works. Yeah, it does. So you got 1,000 nows. My balance went up. I can open the DEX. It should load in a second. Yeah, you can see my profile picture here. You can see the URL I set, and then you can actually use it. You can connect your wallet. You can do swaps. You can do different DeFi actions, like everything that you can do with the Enso widget. You can have it in a customized fashion for yourself.
And this is a live app, so you could chat me this, and I could do swaps. Wow, that's incredible. At this point, I have to wonder how many.
You can not only do swaps, you can enter into all different DeFi through this. Wow. It's the phrase of, "Hey, mom, I can build my own blockchain app now."
Yeah.
Like you were going to say, probably there could be hundreds of thousands of new apps to get created literally in a week now on blockchain.
Yeah, I gotta wonder how many DEXs will launch with Nico's face now that we have the big face reveal.
Guys, trade safe. Don't use my face. Oh God, why I said that? Now they'll do it. Okay, bye.
I think the picture with the helmet you recently posted is actually perfect.
Okay, just don't do it.
You should launch a DEX like that. I would try it there.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just kidding.
If anyone loses money, it's Nico's fault, you know.
And as always, not financial advice, of course. All right, so we've launched our own DEX, and now I could chat that to my mom, and if she was proficient at blockchain, which it should all be getting easier, she should be able to do some very cool swaps, should be an entry point. So we've gone over some of the, so now just anyone that's, mucking about crypto, technical or non-technical, could pretty much launch their own DEX in a matter of seconds, it seems like. Wow.
Yeah, that's basically it. And then we also implemented a share functionality, so you can just hit the button, share it with your friends, and then they can start trading on it.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to start trading on Nico DEX, it's pretty much live and ready to go. And
not for lowest fees.
Yeah. And then we've got a few other categories. So now that we're able to share our DEX, we can post it on social media. We can get out some sweet NAS that we love. What else can we do in here? We've got, I know there were a few other categories. There's AI, social, and apps. What else can we do in the Speedrun?
Yeah, so we do have the AI section, which is really cool. You have basically two different tasks there. You can ask the Enso AI different questions, Web3 related, and you can even submit transactions. You can ask the AI to do a swap for you, to do a bridge transaction, basically anything you can think of. So yeah, that one's pretty cool as well. One thing I wanted to add for all community members and users doing this, to collect the NOS points, you need to connect your Zeely account. And in this AI section, to collect the points, you will need to click the link here. So we can try it out with asking a question. You'll need to connect your wallet. Let me just sign that. And then you can try one of those. You can ask something different. We can just hit one here for now for the sake of experimenting. The Enso AI is thinking about the answer. What is the difference between CK and optimistic rollups? And here we go. Then you can read through and expand your knowledge with the Enso AI.
I had to say, you guys have built an impressive amount of just underlying apps to make this speed run possible. I see, AI chat widgets. I see auto deploy DEXs. I'm like, man, it must be. Do the Enso developers, do they sleep?
Sleep.
Question.
We got the shortcuts. We don't need sleep. Yeah.
We've had some interesting times.
Okay, so now we've got the Enso project. So now people can come in here, they can chat the AI, they can get a better understanding, they can earn NOS points by learning about crypto. It seems like a great situation.
So once you go back, it should give you your points and then have the countdown. You can do it 5 times per day to get NOS, but you can obviously do it as much as you want just for your own sake and learn more, expand your knowledge.
All right. Well, I'll be farming some NOS later for sure because I have many AI questions. What is the meaning of life? What is a shortcut? All kinds of things I ask on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would be curious to see.
I would like to say this. Yeah, just want to. Sorry to interrupt. I want to say I want to give a big shout out to Brian Knows AI. This team has been fundamental for the AI section. A lot of the underlying infra they built of the language model, how to handle these questions, how to call the Enso infrastructure. They were one of the first AI teams that were built using Enso. We found them, I think, about a year and a half ago, and that team has been non-stop crushing, grinding it. So any community members listening, really, really go and check out Brian Knows AI. These guys deserve all of the credit inside of this ecosystem. You know, there's so many AI projects that are, mind my language, talking fucking waffle. They just talk at their ass. These guys walk the walk. They built real applications, and a lot of this AI tool is built using them. Just wanted to give a shout out. These are a really, really solid team.
Yeah, an amazing project, and I'm definitely excited to chat about it. And before we get to social and apps, I know there are some roles and some tasks. Would you mind explaining some of that? Because now we have a good understanding of how we can get some NOS. What are some of the roles and tasks, or maybe that will be more for Nico?
I mean, let me quickly show what you can do in the second AI task, because I think that's really, really cool to see. So you connect again, and then you can actually say, I want to swap a small amount of ETH for the sake of showing here to USDC on Optimism. You hit build. It's not supported right now. Well, I've tried it before and it worked then. Let me see.
Maybe
beauty of a live
yeah, it always happens, but
maybe because 10,000, 20,000 more people are trying to do the same.
that could actually be, yeah. Okay, now it worked.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then you hit confirm. You accept it in your wallet. And then it actually worked. And you can see here, it was actually using the Enso solver underneath. You can check the Explorer link and you will get your NOS points awarded, and you see the count for the day that is remaining that gets points going down.
I'm excited to be getting all these points. I mean, what happens if I max this NOS bar out? Like, is there some kind of leaderboard I should be looking for?
We will implement a leaderboard. You can check the leaderboard in Zeely, but it won't show the DeFi and AI points. But in one of the upcoming releases, so we're going to expand the campaign a little bit more. There's going to be future releases each week or so. And one of them is going to be a leaderboard where you can check your progress, check your status, see how you're doing compared to others.
Yeah, because I need to, it's like a core belief of mine that I need to get more NOS points than Nico, which may be a tough ask, but I just feel that in my bones that I need to do it.
I spend a lot of hours connected, man. I'm all the time online. It's going to take you a while.
Yeah, sleep has been canceled for the foreseeable future, but we will survive. So okay, we've gone through DeFi. We've seen the AI. I can chat. I can even execute. I mean, I got to say, it's incredible that you could just execute a transaction via typing in like, I want to do this swap on. I know it's it's been done, but it still blows my mind that that's possible coming all the way that we have from crypto. But talk to us a little bit about what we can do for social connection.
Yeah, let me just show it here, and then maybe Nico, you want to share a little bit more about it?
Yep, sure. So on the social section, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of tasks that are very familiar to you. Some people have already done some of them. So to begin, the first role you need, which basically it's called Neon Rookie. This role unlocks all the others that are available during the campaign. So whatever you do, this is going to be your starting point in order to progress to the other ones. The tasks on the first level are quite simple. You just need to follow us on X, join our Discord, and now that this the third task, which is post about Enso, you can actually do this task daily. Okay, and actually, in order to get the role, you need to post twice, which means if you post now, tomorrow you can do that again, and then you claim the role. And this will unlock the other 4 roles that are available right now, which are...
Yeah, so we currently display the Neon Rookie. You will be able to share your DeFi app. So Neon Rookie is kind of the starting role where you're a community member, you're following, you have done a post about Enso. Then if you want to level up, the next role is Tokyo Drifter. That's when you have shared your DeFi app on X. You can submit that here. And we have another one that is coming soon that is going to be really cool as well. We'll have a tweet about it when it goes live. There will be a feature where you can put a helmet on your PFP and then share it. And this unlocks the Tokyo Drifter role. And then the last one is Nitro Sensei. So Sensei is basically like a teacher. And accordingly, the tasks involve creating a shortcut speedrun video tutorial. So there are a lot of tasks here. You need to connect to Zeely. So if you want to let other people know how to actually do it, you can create a video and submit that there. Same here, you can create a thread about the shortcut speedrun. If you want to make it a bit more personal, you can share how you found out about the shortcut speedrun, what you liked most about it, and why you would advise others to do it. So this it doesn't give extra points, but would be cool to see some threads in that format. And then you can also invite friends, get some points for it, and then you can claim your Nitro Sensei role because you've been there helping out others to learn more about it.
When Nitro Sensei, I mean, I gotta figure out how fast I can get there. But yeah, maybe you found out like maybe some threads about a very cool live stream that you guys watched, maybe about some shortcuts. Who knows?
You could do that. They would definitely get accepted. Yeah, also note here for everyone watching, any community member who's doing one of those more high-profile tasks, we are reviewing them. Please give us a little bit of time because we want to make sure the content is good because we want to protect actual community members who put effort into it.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah, and to give it...
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, to give a bit of the context of the numbers we're talking about here, at the beginning of the live stream, we had over 500,000 people registered. We have 510K registrations. In the last hour, we've got an additional 50K. So, we've got 560K registrations. So yeah, bear with us whilst we're trying to filter through a lot of this.
Yeah, I know Nico was saying something here, so feel free to chime back in. But yeah, that's an insane amount of registrations.
No, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Like the numbers that we got in the last week are just mind blowing, right? We were expecting to be successful, of course we did, but this is just mind blowing, right? The numbers are we're going to show them a little bit later, but the number of users joining every hour, all the tasks that have been done so far, it's just everything is going like 100 times faster. Like everything is moving extremely fast. But don't worry, we have a solution for everything. Might take us a couple of days, but yeah, reviews gonna kick in. Right now, we're around 48, 72 hours behind with the reviews, but we'll catch up in the following days. So no worries.
Very, very nice. Well, the solution, aside from Enso shortcuts, for me has always been sugar-free Red Bull. But to each their own in terms of speeding up the review process. And then I know we have one final section because we've done DeFi, we've done AI, we've done social. What is the app section?
Yeah, let me share my screen. But I think Connor can also share a lot about this because it's more on the builder side. It's basically showing the ecosystem, all apps that are using Enso underneath, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this looks.
Yeah, I mean, Enso is a real backbone of a lot of Web3 companies that people, don't know. Enso is powering a lot of these companies. Maybe we could scroll through some of them. Benki's Aligning Market, Brahma's Automation, Borrow's one of the top lending protocols, Axel's AI projects, Contango.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Shout
skip a
out to
couple
Brian Knowles
more.
as well again.
Yeah, it's there's just a lot. There's a lot of different projects, so definitely recommend to check this out and go through every single one. You do get rewarded for it, and it gives you really the context of where Enso's impacting.
Yeah, we have Unplug here where you shared this. I think you shared the story before about reducing the build time massively. And Automato, I think they're called. We had a live stream with them recently where they actually had this call with the other founder where they were like, okay, we can launch within a matter of days instead of months or weeks because we found Enso.
It's, I gotta say, incredible to see the amount of apps you guys have built on Enso. It's like, what's that, 10, like 8+ pages? I think it's like 12 per page.
Yeah, it's eight pages.
Like, oh my goodness. All right, well, people, you can join. You can get a lot of NOS by going through this section. It also reminds me of a very interesting marketing growth hack. Is if you want your company to be stack ranked, just make it with an A or a B, because almost all default sorting is alphabetical. So Aave might have had the greatest growth hack of all time by going 2 A's.
That's a good point. Yeah, we were thinking about how to display it, and like alphabetical is just the easiest way to go where you don't favor anyone in a way. So
yeah. My future company will be named AAA Media. So I will always be #1 on the stack rank. Okay, so people can go through all of these apps. They can collect NOS. They can do DeFi. They can chat in AI. They can complete these tasks, and at the end they become a sensei, and they compete for Nico's job. What happens?
So at a certain stage, the Nico's like, nobody will take my job. I'm the as leader.
I'm gonna take my job myself with my future AI version, as we mentioned.
Yeah, no. So this is kind of the first phase of the decentralization of Enso. We've been building in the background now for 4 years, pivoted the company 2 times. We're now generating revenue, is profitable. We are powering some of the largest applications. But one thing we didn't have is the retail awareness, nor the community behind Enso. And really hats off to all the marketing team, including Nico, Javier, Leone, and so forth. It's been a great job in the last couple of months. And this is kind of the start of bringing more people to Enso. So for successful crypto projects, one, you need to make people rich, right? To do that, you need to launch a token. So obviously we haven't hinted we're launching a token. How those mechanisms are going to be distributed and so forth, we're not going to disclose on this call. We will share like a blog closer to time of launch. But yeah, really, this is the phase of bringing Enso awareness to every single ear inside of crypto. We shouldn't just be in the backbone powering all these applications. Everyone should know about us from day one. So we're launching this. There's going to be some other mini releases that will be coming over the next couple of weeks. And then the network will start to be phased out and rolled out. And then the token will also go live. So it's a really fun start to the journey. And maybe what we can do is show the speedrun video. If can we please sound through this as well? Just to a monumental time for the video. Brings me back to my Need for Speed days. Honestly, it's great.
I think it should work, but we never tried
it. We're doing it live.
Let's try it. Test and prod.
A classic.
Literally. Do you want to screen share, Leonie? Or you're on mute, by the way.
See if we can find this video. I think we're just circling the drive. Which of the many Google Drives does it live in?
I have it here.
There we go. That's what I really need AI to figure out for me. Is just organize my drive in a way that isn't just random Google Docs everywhere.
Oh, I agree. And also it's like Telegram messages, Discord messages. If somebody can build an automation tool to sort by priority and what's the most interesting, I'd pay a lot of money for that.
There's
really.
a CEO I know that charges people stars if they want to message him. So that's a stars. Yeah. So there's like a premium feature where like people like, so if you're getting a cold DM, so if I wanted to message Nico and let's say we've never talked before, we're in no mutual groups, it would charge you like $3 to message him, which I think may be the solution to some kind of spam problems.
That was I remember there was a project in 2018 funded by Tim Draper, I believe. They'd done exactly that for emails.
Cold email.
So if you wanted to get a response in an email, yeah. We good to share?
Yep, let me share. Sorry.
Actually, it's interesting that nobody has built those functions for Discord and Telegram, right? Like, it feels like it should have been already live, like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I saw someone talking about it on Twitter the other day. Oh,
Can you
this is
actually
cool.
hear that
Does
I
it sound all
have
right?
full screen on?
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah,
Cool.
we can. Then maybe we need to take out the headphones on your side to play the sound through it. Unless you
Can you hear it?
I cannot hear it.
No, the
Mm,
But
sound
I've
is
got the
not on.
visuals.
maybe if
Let me
I
try. I've got
use
an
it
idea.
without the AirPods.
Let me share. Yeah,
Yeah.
without headphones. Yeah, exactly.
The old test and prod.
No, I can't hear it again.
You know what I bet happens is there's probably an anti-echo feature. And they're probably cutting it. Would be my guess.
True. Glad to subtitles.
I mean, I chatted Leonie. This must have been late last night. I was like, "Who made this video? It's so well produced." I was just like, "Dang, this is great." So maybe we can post in the community chat for people to go watch the video live with some of the sound effects. But I was watching it last night. I was like, "This is some of the best produced video I've seen in a while."
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I like it a lot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so we've got the amazing video. We've got, the Zealy campaign, so people can go in there. They can test out the apps. They can test out the social, the AI, DeFi. I think probably what would be good is let's take some questions maybe from the community, kind of see some of the reactions, questions that people have, and then we can, have some of the friends and partners maybe jump in.
Yep, let's do
Let's
that.
do it. Let's take a look.
Have we got any questions, Nico, from public Discord?
Yes, actually, we do have some. Let's start with the first one. Does Layer Zero have anything to do with Enso? I guess somebody has not been paying much attention lately.
Oh, go on Enso Twitter and you'll see a big announcement. Layer Zero, Stargate, Enso, Uniswap, all creating a project to launch last Thursday. Biggest names in crypto. It's an honor to be working with those teams. They're very, very good. The answer is yes.
So the next one, is the shortcuts code open source?
Good question. Right now, no, because it's got too much secret sauce that people will steal. The answer is not right now. Parts of it is. So the smart contracts are open source, audited 7 times. But to be able to use those smart contracts in a real superpower, you need to have a backend infra that graphs every single blockchain, every single on-chain protocol, and then combines it together. And the backend's not open source just yet.
Okay, let's go for one more. Is it possible to send transactions on base network? What kind of integrations do we have?
Yes. What integrations do we have? Let me check.
I'm pretty sure Base is available on the AI.
I know. Yeah, I know Base is available. I'm trying to see what protocols are on Base. See what one is Base chain ID. See docs. What's the chain ID of Base? I don't know. 8453. Integrations, protocols, project. Yeah. All right, so Aave, ZeroLand, Spark, Angle, Aura, Bouncer, Beefy, Moonwell, Compound, Curve, Morpho, Gains, D2 Finance, Origami, Origin, a bunch more that
A lot of options.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
I would
the
say
list is
about,
pretty long.
yeah, 45, 50. So let's not go through each individual one, but
We've got as well some very. I received the really cool community content that was created by a community member. Maybe I can share it. It's a 5-minute video, but I can no, it's actually 1-minute video. He did some really cool piece of art that actually looks pretty big. Let's see. Let me try to share it here.
go.
Okay, let me play it here. So, well,
Is this you? Is this
no,
you?
no, it's not me. Although, yeah, I can see because of the hair. Yeah, but no, it's not me. There's no way I can do anything even remotely close to that.
Yeah, watching stuff like this
I think
reminds
it's
me
the
that I
wrong
have
video,
no
though.
artistical talent.
There's another one.
Wow, this is incredible.
Oh no, just a second. Sorry. There was this one. Let me just a second. And
I really need to take some art classes. I watched that. I'm like, oh, why? I don't know how to do anything that's not digital.
okay, here it is. There. Okay. Okay, sharing it right now. As I mentioned, the video is a little bit longer, but I'll shorten it. Maybe I'll share it later on in the Discord so you can see like the whole process. So it's a technique that basically just like cut layers. As you can see, he has beard.
No way,
He has beard. I don't have beard, so I don't think I don't know if he's going to show his face, but I think that's a proof. Yes, that's the Enso's logo.
Wow.
How did we end up with pink, orange, and blue?
It's a very creative designer.
Yeah. Oh, he actually does. That's so cool.
Very
Just from the
cool.
video, it looks like it's like at least 1.5 meters or so.
Wow.
It looks pretty big.
Man, can I send you the company's address? Can you send this to the office and we put it up in the office?
Sure.
Wow.
Definitely looks
that's
pretty
cool,
big.
That's cool.
I'll share the full video with the community in Discord so you can see like the whole process.
I think we have some partners dropping in. Maybe we can get them on screen as well.
Yeah, bring them in.
Oh, hey everyone.
Hey, GM.
And yeah, congratulations with the speedrun. Like, I love the art like so much. It took me back to my childhood, like remember like getting STD from my friend, installing Need for Speed. Yeah, a fun days.
The good times, the good times. And then Darius, could you give us for people that are unfamiliar with you, could you give us just an intro and how you know the Enso squad?
Yeah, of course. So I'm founder of Loomly, which is a no-code builder for AI agents. So essentially, basically, in a matter maybe of hours, you can create a fully functional agent that can check data, use your wallet. Also, we have Enso integration, so it's possible to utilize all these shortcuts to essentially empower agent to use stuff on chain. And yeah, like recently we launched like a terminal widget, which allows to create an agent and then add it to your website via like this.
Very cool. So essentially, I could create the Nico agent or the Jax agent, and they could start spending all my crypto in reckless ways, like I do, or maybe stop me from doing
it. Yeah, pretty much. And so yeah, we had this latest copilot we helped to build was for Zerion wallet, and so it's already like live on their wallet on the web. And like next, it started as just informational one, but currently we already start working on enabling users to transact through the agent. And Enso will take a big part of it, especially for all those DeFi related transactions that, well, are really, quite challenging to integrate every single thing that user might wish. So yeah, I just love how Enso simplifies this whole thing.
I appreciate you joining. Well, how would you describe? I also want to jump over to Vlad after, just because you both joined at the same time. How easy was it to use Enso? Like, does it actually make your life easier, or are we just saying that to push a narrative? Like, is it true or is it not?
Well, I mean, if I would have to do like the same thing from scratch, well, I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to do it, but it would take maybe 1 week, 2 weeks just to make sure it actually works. While with Enso, like the same actions I want to do, so they're taking, I don't know, like half an hour, maybe up to 1 hour tops to make it production ready. And it's beautiful. Well, particularly, yeah, like this, I would say like the thing that just surprises me the most is how composable it is. Like usually, like back in the days, like for each composable action of transactions, you would have a separate smart contract that can do specifically only this route. While with Enso, yeah, things can be just bundled together. So yeah, it just helps to iterate and yeah, well know that speed matters. And yeah, again, love the reference there for Need for Speed, because it does really speed things up.
Well, we love it. We love getting things speed up. So people go collect your NOS points, and then we'll probably move over to Vlad, because I know you guys are actually from different companies. So Vlad, I'm quite curious if you're around. Talk to us a little bit about how you're using Enso and a brief introduction to your company.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. So yeah, I'm co-founder of Primex Finance, that initially started just like a protocol. We now have 2 products, and in both we are using Enso, and we really need it a lot. So in the protocol, that is a leverage trading and leverage yield farming solution. Using Enso, we are simplifying a lot the velocity of adding new protocols. A couple of years ago, I think we first met. I think it was Connor. Yeah, I think we met here. Yeah. And that time we were looking for the right routing solution. We had our own basic fork. I think it was fork of Uni front end router. And yeah, we experimented with some other services. But of course, such an implementation cannot be as advanced as a special product like yours. So yeah, finally we realized that making this routing as part of our app would be just one more product apart. And yeah, that time, fortunately, we met you and Enso, and from that moment, we implemented a lot of integrations thanks to Enso in the protocol. Additionally to it, we have now an app that is kind of super app for accessing different DeFi opportunities that is focused on user experience. It's not a protocol on its own. It just gives access to other existing protocols for simple actions like swapping, cross-chain, for yield farming, for LPing, on DEXs, on constant liquidity. And yeah, we are planning to add more and more capabilities to it. So it's kind of portfolio management for someone who wants to access easily different DeFi solutions with simplified multi-chain interaction with such things like gasless transactions, easy on-ramp, social login, and yeah, all these like important capabilities for UX. So for the integration of different DeFi protocols, we need Enso, and we use it there, and it's running very smoothly. We can add one more protocol just, I mean, in less than an hour. We love it a lot. So now developing the front-end part becomes much longer than the actual core, thanks to your protocol. So it's our experience with Enso. For now, we are just using your solution as part of one chain for constructing the road in one chain. But if I'm not mistaken, you have this cross-chain capability, or at least developing it based on intents, right? We never tried it yet, but yeah, eager to do it. If maybe it's already live, I don't know.
Yeah, we leaked it earlier on the stream, and we're leaking it again.
We double
So
leaked.
yeah, so it's ready.
Oh, cool.
We can we'll send it to you. So yeah, so it's like from like tons of EVM chains, I think even Sol as well, into like any of the DeFi protocols we support. So if you're wanting to do like, I don't know, AVAX, ETH into a DeFi protocol, mainnet like Aave, to then do the looping and so forth, you can do that.
We'll try,
really
because for now,
and easily.
at least we have another intent-based solution that we use, and in the like in the final chain where we do the actual DeFi thing, there we use Enso. But I think now we can just substitute it all with Enso. Yeah.
Combine it all together. Yeah, we've seen a lot of people migrate. Like it's so strange. You know, I start to realize the longer we do Ensos, like there's so many Lego blocks, but nobody's really combined them together. And like projects like yourself and so forth, they're really combining all these blocks together with Loomly and whatnot. And like you were saying, is this front end is more intensive now than the back end. That's literally the way that it should be.
We can focus on the real product value, not this core. Yeah.
Right. It's like users. I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, you download Instagram, you download Facebook, you download TikTok, you download whatever these other apps you download. You download not because you're paid to download them. You download them because they're valuable. And it's like now in crypto, like all these products can now just focus on the interface. So it's really good feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely focusing on the core IP instead of, all of the difficult protocol connections. So it seems like, Enso is really enabling a ton. So as we start to, I think, move on to some other projects, Darius and Vlad, anything you want to talk about in terms of your integration with Enso, your experience with it, or any upcoming milestones you all have?
Yeah, we'll continue adding more protocols to this DeFi app that is called Friendify. Yeah. Sorry, I got a message. They have to answer. Yeah, I'm back. It's called Friendify, and we also think to introduce some intelligence. I mean, as part of this app. An agent that will, based on the prompt of the user, construct a transaction. And I think through some partner that you are integrated with, you have also this capability, right? Or at least developing it, so that we can create a transaction directly from a prompt, right? But if not, we have some other solutions. Yeah, so it's now a roadmap, and it's what we are planning to introduce.
You could just use Darius.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, indeed. Yeah,
yeah, of course. But yeah, we do have like this end-to-end solution for agents. So happy to connect.
So it can be integrated in another app, right?
Yeah, like through API.
Cool.
So it's pretty
nice. Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, we'll be happy to try, definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess from the Loomlay, so I guess like what we want to now improve is this Copilot. We are working together with Zerion. So they have this vision of transforming into an AI wallet. So everything becomes like assisted for AI. And like this transaction creation. So that's been, that's going to be like this next phase we're going to. And I'm really excited how it's going to like turn out. Like what I like about this Zerion wallet is that like they've been like early DeFi OGs from 2019. So they focused really on this yield farming, and they have a lot of, let's say, sophisticated DeFi users. And might be actually interesting what people would come up while using this Copilot and having Enso behind routing it. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the stream and talking to us. It's one thing for us here to talk about like all the amazing things we're doing, all the partnership announcements. It's another thing entirely to have like actual partners come in here, tell us how they're using Enso, how it's making their life a ton easier. So yeah, I was super excited to see both your projects grow and see how you ultimately continue to use Enso during the speed run and in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Great to be here.
Thanks, guys.
I think
we'll ping you after for some updates. How many users start going to your apps, and appreciate you jumping on the live stream. It was great.
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be in touch.
Yeah. And for listeners, of course, go to the Speedrun website, go interact with both of those partners, go use theirs, and go earn NAS for doing it. So it's going to be a very exciting thing. And I'm not sure if you have any other partners coming on. If not, we will continue to talk about some of the kind of special updates and some of the partners that are in the UI. But let us know.
I think we also still have a few questions from the community that we didn't cover because we had the partners drop in.
Perfect. This one seems obvious to me, but I'll let Connor answer it. Is there a plan to create a live directory of shortcut integrations?
The answer is yes. Yes. So it's actually built. Let me just leak it again.
Leaks galore today.
There's a DeFi Explorer UI. We ship too much. Sometimes we literally forget what we built. It's a problem. It's a real problem. Like other projects will spend months for just one release, and somebody will be like, "Oh, I had this idea, and oh, I've just built it. I've got this idea. What do you think?" At I think it was like 8 p.m. I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And then 3 a.m. I get a message, be like, "Oh yeah, it's live. Boom, here you go." It's insane the speed. So, it's not got a proper page just yet, but it's explorer-theta-8.vercel.app, which will change the slogan. Oh, it's actually called navigator.enso.build. Navigator.enso.build. This will be able to see all the different protocols available, all the different tokens, and all the different chains. Yeah.
This one might be more for Nico or for Leonie. How if I use local language? I'm assuming they're talking about if they're making content in Spanish or say Portuguese.
Yeah, that's correct.
Will
So
they
we
get
have
credit and
we have communities from many different regions, languages. So we found out that most of them are actually communicating through AI or translators. So we found this like issue because they were really good creating content on their native language, but once they translate it, well, of course in English it's just we get this we thought that some of the content, I mean, there is already like a lot of AI content, but we're thinking that, okay, why are they doing that? And then actually after talking with many community members, they were suggesting us, hey, is it okay if we do the content in our own language? And we said, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, instead of translating your content, let's just do it in your language. Because, for example, if you're doing a video, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but for other tasks, it can be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, TLDR, you can create content on your own language, and we'll still review it. And if it's good, it will get approved.
Very nice, very nice. And then I'm sure this one is commonplace, but will Enso create and update the project roadmap regularly? And are you guys shipping so fast that like, is there a roadmap?
The answer is we will share it. We have an internal North Star of where we want to get to. I think a lot of crypto projects create a roadmap with artificial deadlines to have retail engage orientated around there. Truthfully, companies kind of don't work that way. They don't work that way. Like if we defined a roadmap at the beginning of Enso for every single month and every single 3 months, we wouldn't have got to where we were because we'd be too constricted. So I think if we are going to share it, it's going to be very North Star orientated with not explicit dates. Why? Sometimes we get messages from companies that will go, "Hey, we want to launch this using Enso," and it's some of the largest brands inside of crypto. We today on the stream we launched with the Bear Chain the V2 rollover of Royco, right? There's one of the calls that Lindy jumped off to earlier. That's another pretty large household name inside of crypto that's going live with Enso, hopefully next week. And if we define granularly every single thing on a roadmap, one, we're just going to be not being able to fulfill it. Two, we're going to constrict where the company goes. And three, we're not going to be able to be adaptable. So to answer your question directly, but with the real talk is we will give you a North Star, but we're not going to explicitly break down every single component.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, kind of the North Star is, integrate with as many, tier 1 protocols and, make blockchain easier to develop and use. There you go. Easy. And then always a reminder to people to go engage with the apps, go start doing the Zelia campaign, go start stacking the NOS. Like if you really want to beat Nico's score when that leaderboard comes out, you're going to have to be working pretty dang hard. let's just say you'll be chatting AI a lot.
There's so much to be done. Like it's been only an hour since it's live, but yeah, like what are you even doing?
Stop whatever you're doing. Open up Speedrun. Do tasks.
Do we have any stats of how many people have started so far?
Let's have a quick look what the starts are, at least on the tasks that are related to Zeely, because some of them are, others are not. Like the Enso AI is not related to it, the DeFi app either. So let's see here.
Wallet connections look like an additional 6K in the last 15 minutes. Yeah, it's 566K. It's
That's like
pretty wild. How many apps are there in crypto?
About
deploy more apps in all of crypto.
4,000. I mean, just based off this, you might double the number.
That's like 50,000 wallets.
It's called Speedrun for a reason, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there were 4,330 when we pulled the stat from DeFi Llama. This must have been months ago, but yeah, you could easily double it. I don't know what the listing process is to get on DeFi Llama, so maybe we'll it will take a lag effect.
It's open source PR. You know, it's there's so many AI bots now that are just doing this, so we could easily generate a bot to just upload these.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, instead of a post on Twitter, post on Telegram, you should have a list on list on DeFi Llama. Whoever the core contributor there might end up hating you guys, but it could be a fun experiment.
It'd be fun. I've got a question for everyone actually, since I think we're probably coming to the end. Leonie, Nico, what was even Jax actually? What was one of the funnest things about the speedrun? So this has been a quite intensive initiative. Not only have we built a community really quickly, marketed all of this, got custom videos, custom UI, we built all the UIs, we built tons of mini applications, we've defined a whole NOS system, and it's not half-arsed. Like, it's a really good product. Like, not many companies in Web3 even have this type of visuals, even go to this granular detail. So yeah, what was the most fun part of this, and what was the most stressful part of it, apart from the launch time of this whole initiative?
Well, I think the stressful part was definitely when we integrated this feature that you can already connect earlier and get some additional points for it. And we saw a really big influx of new community members. So yeah, we were up over the weekend to handle Discord because messages were coming in just left and right. So many Zeely task submissions. I would say that was stressful, but it was also fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, all those tasks are actually a great way to get you're basically getting direct feedback from the community, what they know about you and what they don't. Because as soon as you detect like 20, 30 submits that are misdefining shortcuts, then it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something about that we're not communicating properly. And this was just an example, right? But this applies to any element that surrounds Enso. Like, hey, do you do this? Oh, okay. If they're making if a lot of people are repeating the same mistake, then it's like, okay, then there is a issue with the educational process, and we've been like helping everyone to get through their tasks. Like, if they're making the same mistake, like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, because Enso actually is this and not that. So this was like super fun. The most stressful one, of course. Last weekend was kind of unexpected.
What if you found out? What if you found out that the communication needs to be improved? Because I think it's a really good feedback.
No, generally it's good, but for example, but this is something very silly. But people, instead of calling us Enso, they were calling us because of our handle, which is Enso build. So they were naming us Enso Built Everywhere, for example. I was like, okay, well, this is just like something that, and of course, once you tell people, hey, you need to change the article's name or the video's name or the meme that you're doing, they're like, oh, okay, sorry, I just changed that automatically. And same for the logos, like they misrepresent sometimes the logo. I'm like, okay, this is the actual logo that we have. They're like, oh, okay, sure, I'm changing that right away.
Yeah, I think some people are using like the Enso circle as the logo, which is not wrong. I think it used to be the logo in the beginning. And it's actually,
That's the OG
yeah, it's
Enso,
actually
yeah.
interesting, like how deep some community members dig and find information from like 2021, 2022. And I mean, there's been a rebrand from finance to build. So I get that there might be confusion around that. But yeah, I agree. It's really good feedback where we can improve the communication. And I wanted to add on, I think for me, the most fun part was also thinking about the point system and how the roles relate together. Because yeah, it's more complex than you think in the beginning. You think, oh, we just have some fun roles and then some tasks to it, but it all needs to kind of work together, and you need to have a way to track it on the technical side. So there's a lot more thought that goes into it than you think in the beginning.
Marketing and community management, never particularly easy, but you guys have done a great job putting this all together and really getting the community involved. So, as we kind of move on to wrap things up, what are some of the final call to actions that people should do? How can they stay involved, and how can they share their progress as they move through the speedrun?
That to Leonie and Nico related to that one.
Oops, sorry, I was multitasking. Could you repeat the question?
No worries. So how can people, get started, continue with the speedrun? So it seems like they should go to the speedrun website, which should be live in the Discord, I believe. Here, if I can read it off, speedrun.ensobuild, and then how can they stay involved, share their progress through the speedrun itself?
The first most important thing is go to the website, connect the wallet, and do the first tasks. Beware that you won't be able to complete everything on day one. It's going to take you a little bit more time. Some of the tasks, you need to repeat them. A couple of them are daily, some of them are weekly. So think of that like it's, although the name is speedrun, it's going to take you probably a couple of weeks in order to 2 or 3 weeks to get everything. So be patient, go step by step, complete the task individually. If you need some help, you can always join Discord. There are a lot of community members that are super active right now. I'm there as well. You can ping me anytime. And just keep that in mind. It's going to take you a little bit of time to complete everything. Not everything is going to be done on day one.
Absolutely. So everyone, go get started now. It's going to take you a few weeks to get everything done. So finally, any final words you want to share with the people listening before we wrap the live stream? And Connor or Leonie?
I'll just say one thing. I'll say the Enso team has done a really good job on this front. From engineering to marketing to BD to DevRel to every single person in the company. In the last 2 weeks alone, we have done 3 massive launches. Companies spend 1.5 years to build this stuff. We spent a couple of weeks, literally. So Speedrun went live today. On the same day in the same live stream, the Boyko migration of $3.1 billion version 2 went live. Last Thursday, Uniswap went live. Next week, there's other stuff going live. So yeah, I just want to say, the speedrun is just the start of the journey of Enso community. Get part of it. Get part of kind of our culture, and our culture is we ship and we ship fast. And if you don't want to be around that, don't join our community. Like, truthfully, if you want us to sit and give you white papers, research topics, and give you detailed roadmaps, I'm going to say it firsthand. Like, Enso's not a place for you. We want people that understand that shipping matters in this ecosystem, and we're here to actually make a difference in crypto, not by just words and text, but by actually releasing stuff and by enabling applications to build within this ecosystem, which truthfully is quite rare. So we're different breeds, different bloods, and you can see the team is absolutely cracked. So yeah, hats off to all the team members, and also Brian knows AI and what.
Absolutely. Well, everyone go get involved, go join the Discord, go start the campaigns, go, if you're interested in products, not white papers, go join the community and get involved. And until the next time, we will talk to you all soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Enjoy shipping.
Thank you.